Hi, Cancer Sun and Rising. Welcome to your November 2021 Astro Update. It's Raina here. Okie dokie. Well, it looks to me like you're going to have a really fun month. And when I do these readings, I just put out all the transits on I type them out on a document. And when I first started, I had to actually write down what house or type out what house it was going to be in. Now I can just do it by sight. And so since I was doing your sign, I wasn't paying attention to, okay, what's going to be the theme here. But now that I think about it, because we're dealing with Scorpio, this is your fifth house. It's a water sign that comes after you. So it's going to be the fifth house. Your sister elements of water signs, Scorpio and Pisces, form trines to you. So whenever you have one of these transits, it's very nice because it's very supportive of everything that you're trying to accomplish. So you may actually feel this as a month where it's easier to get things done instead of being obstructed, instead of having kind of like these roadblocks, because Libra is a cardinal sign and that forms a square. So you may always notice in October or even sometimes in September that you have a lot more obstacles or a lot more frustration. And maybe now you feel like the sense of ease. And it's not like everything's going to be, all the transits are in Scorpio, but just some important ones, because the sun is there as the month begins. And on the 4th, we have a new moon at 12 degrees of Scorpio. Now, it stands to mention that this is going to be different for all of you Cancers because of your degree of sun in Cancer or rising in Cancer. So take this as a general reading rather than something totally specific based on these dates. I remember when I used to watch astrologers on YouTube years ago, and I didn't know, I knew about astrology, but not really about predictive astrology. And one of the astrologers said that, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You mean all this time I've been watching these videos for these exact dates and they may not even pan out? And it just felt like such an illusion had been shattered, but it really isn't, because these energies are around. Maybe they'll happen later for you, sometimes maybe a little bit before, but it's all in the same time frame. And the whole point is to give some sort of comfort if you've been going through things and you're like, okay, when is this going to get easier? And you're doing your own work. Obviously, you have to do the work, but I'm telling you, sometimes we can do our part and we can try, and then we feel very frustrated, let down because we don't feel supported by the universe. And that's when it's time to go within and really get to the root if there's something that you're blocking within yourself, or if it's just, it could be something in the world. Like, for instance, a transit that is affecting you in some important area of life, like your 6th house of work, your 10th house of career. And like, for instance, that kind of happened to me recently. And it's like, if you're doing your part, then it can feel like crazy making, because you're like, okay, what's going on here? Why is this happening? So astrology does have some kind of value, even when it's not perfect, with some of these transits. Learn to read your own chart or get a personal reading, and you can find out the exact times when things might happen. You always have to say might, because they might not. But anyway, getting back to the transits, This new moon in Scorpio hits your fifth house, and this is this house of creativity, of love, but and children can be that. So there might be some new developments with children. But on top of that, it's the area of fun and games and pleasure. So that's why I said at the beginning, you're going to be having fun. And it's nice because we're going into this holiday season. Even if you're not religious or what have you, you still are probably going to get swept up in other people's celebrations because it's so widespread. Um, and this is just a time when there tend to be more things happening because I have this meme that I saved to my computer, and it was something like, don't wait for a special day to make things happen. Celebrate every day, something like that. And that's so true because we have a society that reserves times when you have holidays, when you just give thanks, or you know, visit with loved ones. And we need to realize that we don't need permission to do that. So this can be a time when you just kind of let your hair down, Cancer. Maybe this is new love coming into your life if you're receptive for it. New creative ideas. On the 5th, we have Venus going from Sagittarius to Capricorn, as well as Mercury going into Scorpio. So Mercury goes into that 5th house, and you have Venus going into the 7th house. So for almost a week, Venus is in the 6th house of work, and that can be very good for anything to do with harmony with coworkers, anything in the physical environment. If you work in an office type of an environment, you can experience a certain sense of ease. Maybe you're getting a raise where you work. Getting along better with coworkers, having your office redecorated. I always call this the Vitamix transit. Like Venus can be high ticket luxury items, or items that cost a lot of money that you're splurging on. And the 6th house is a very practical place. This is Virgo's domain, so it deals with health. So maybe buying a gym membership or a Vitamix or something. If you are looking to improve your health or change your diet in some way, you might be looking at it from the standpoint, or motivated from wanting to look a certain way that you think is attractive. It lends beauty to that. And also maybe easing up on your daily routines, having more, instead of doing, having more flow, I would say, where you're not type A necessarily. Maybe doing yoga instead of some vigorous activity. I don't know what that would look like for you. And then Venus goes into the 7th house, which is great for relationships because this is the area of committed partnerships. This is where this is the house that Venus, one of the houses that Venus rules. So that can be very good if you have a significant other, of having some kind of harmony with that person. What else? Well, it's interesting because you have this 5th house being activated with the new moon and stuff like that. So this is the area of love. So maybe it's just feeling that sense of wanting to commit to somebody fully. And this can be good for anyone who has clients. You might be getting along with them very well. It can give you the ability to attract clients. Venus is the attractor. And also this is the area of public relations. So that can be done with greater ease. And let's see here. On the same day, Mercury goes into Scorpio, goes into that fifth house. So you might be talking maybe like some pleasure, since fifth house is the house of pleasure. You might be doing some on the cerebral level, going to the play, going to a play, going to poetry readings, something that has to do with the mind, or writing, literary. Maybe you're a writer and you're just getting into that zone for your writing, coming up with these brilliant ideas. You might be talking to a person that a love interest type of individual. On the 19th, we have a lunar eclipse at 27 degrees of Taurus. This is the first one in Taurus. And this ushers in a new cycle, although we are going to have the last one in Sag in December. So it's kind of like bringing in the new, but still wrapping up the last eclipse cycle. So Taurus is a friendly angle to you. It is a sextile, and it's coming from your 11th house of hopes and wishes, friendships, and groups. So this is going to be an area that is triggered in, right now, but in 2022 as well. And so you may see old friends leaving and new friends coming in. And when I say friends, it can actually be acquaintances, people that you know through groups that you belong to. It could be new groups that you belong to, new organizations. And I think that because Uranus is also in this same house, these groups can be of a somewhat unusual nature. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's some kind of like spiritual group that's kind of like a little bit different, like your star seeds, or you are in a Reiki healing group, that kind of thing. I know they have these groups because I haven't gone yet, but they have them where I live, so I'm sure they have them where you live. And another thing that, and also, yeah, this is very important because it's funny. I think Cancer and Aquarius form an in conjunction. That's probably true. I'm thinking that they do. And it's funny because even though in conjunctions are supposed to be really oddball energies that combine, or don't combine very well, like oil and water, I feel like one of the things that in my observation of Aquarians and Cancers, now of course it's only some of you guys, is that you both have concerns about other people, and that may be where you connect with groups like maybe Habitat for Humanity if you live in the United States. That would bring in the home aspect that Cancer loves, or working in a homeless shelter, or issues, community outreach, things like that. That is one area. Feeding people, that's something that soup kitchens, or food pantries, that's something that I could see Cancer really caring about. Tutoring in the community, free tutoring, reduced price tutoring. So these kinds of things may really be calling to, because the 11th house is Aquarius's domain. That's why I brought up Aquarius. And yet, and Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, and you have this in this transit here as well. And I feel like this can give you a whole new group of people that you are connecting with during the this time next few years. Okay. What else? Oh, well, I was going to say about this lunar eclipse is this is also the area of your hopes and wishes. So I could see for some of you maybe having your dreams come true. Something that you've been wanting. This is the area of what do you call it? Like long range goals. So you've been working hard, and then they finally, your ship comes in, so to speak. Also, another angle with that that has a monetary value to it is that this is the house of gains. So if you think about it in terms of your career, what you've been putting into things, this can be like that kind of situation where you are finally turning a profit, finally making it instead of just breaking even, that kind of thing. So it could have like various different interpretations. And for some of you, I would say this would be especially if you are planning on moving and you're leaving behind your friends, that you're saying goodbye to some of these people. So, anyway, that's what's happening on that front. And let's see what else. On the 21st, the sun goes into Sag, and then 3 days later, Mercury goes into Sagittarius. So this is that sixth house again, that workaday world area, that area of well, I was going to say diet and nutrition, but health. Mercury can be about health, and you might be like reading up on health, researching, trying to see what you want to do about it, your game plan, because there's going to be an eclipse in the sixth house in December. So that could be a catalyst for you to maybe start a new whatever health regimen. If that's something that's been calling to you, this is a time when you might feel more like doing so. And even like your daily routine or schedule, it's an important thing to consider because for some people, this can be, turned upside down, and maybe that's for the best, because you know that let's say you're going back into a physical workplace, then you've gotten used to being at home all the time, or even the exact opposite. Maybe you've quit your job, or you have you just said that you will work from home, work abroad, if you're going to travel and do things like that. So yeah, that's what's happening in November. I hope that this resonated, Cancer. If you'd like a private reading, the link is below. I'm doing double readings for you know a sale price that are more extended chart analysis and transit, so it gives more time. It's better for me, to be honest with you, than trying to condense things. So please click on the link below if you'd like more details, and thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.